Before we go any further, I just thought I'd show everybody this was the cup they gave out this is the cup they gave out at the Dome last night. Original 16. You got this really nice aluminum Kiprusoff cup, which is awesome. They didn't do something like that for the Jarome game. I like to call this my Cuppersoff. And I saw a number of people that probably had too much beer to get more of these. I saw a guy walking out here with 9 of them last night, and I thought, wow, I'm surprised this guy's still walking.
Yeah. So I think the other question that comes out of sort of the branch out of this question is what the Flames do when the next retirement is. And I have a few names that I think I want to bring up here.
Sure.
Okay, so the next two obvious names that I think will be debated for jersey retirement in current Flames lore that are playing are Mark Giordano, who was the captain of this team, and Michael Backlund. And I don't think either of them had a career that is going to tell me that they have a jersey retirement. I don't see it. It was good, not great, although Giordano did get a Norris trophy. So I wonder maybe.
But I don't know if one trophy makes you a guy you want to retire.
Yeah. But of course, there's two names that have come up quite regularly from the past. Two commons, and then we'll get to some other ones. Do you think Al MacInnis ever gets his jersey retired?
I think that when the Flames move to a new building, you see the two numbers that right now are forever a Flame just get streamlined into the numbers that are up there. Because right now they've got this sort of two different looks of your forever Flame retired. I don't think they'll do another ceremony, but I think, they will sort of retire 2 and 25 and just put them in the rafters looking like the other two or the other 4. Okay.
So that's the other one is Nieuwendyk. Here's a few names from the past that I think that
before we go to the past, I think one guy that would have been up there if he stuck around would be Johnny Gaudreau. If Johnny Gaudreau would have re-signed in Calgary, I think you could make the banner up right now.
Yeah. And even I think there's a really good argument that Matthew Tkachuk would have had that same number. The same thing happen. Yeah.
What about Theo?
I think Theo's comments, I think, I'm not going to get into a political debate about where Theo Fleury stands on things, but I don't think that the Flames ownership or even the league for that matter are completely comfortable with Theo's political leanings, and I think they would rather avoid it than participate. I think it does happen, but I think it's going to happen a few years down the road.
See, the thing about it is, you look at like last night, all the guys that have been retired, they're still the face of the organization. They're still there. They're still talking. They're still doing media stuff. I don't know the Flames want Theo to be that face of the organization. I think they gave him a great chance in 2009 when they brought him back for training camp. That building was so electric. I was at a few of those games to see Theo when he touched the puck, to have him back on the ice. I think the plan was bring him back for camp, cut him, and I mean, if he could play, great, but I think the plan was probably always cut him and then retire him. And he made some comments after that reflected poorly on him and the organization. I think he kind of blew his chance.
Yeah. If it does happen, it's going to be a few years down the road. While we're at polarized in figures, what about Daryl Sutter, who made the Mikka Kiprusoff trade, as we mentioned, coached the team in 2004. He got a loud cheer Saturday night in that building, for all of Flames Twitter that showed and social media that had this hatred for him. He's still a pretty popular figure in Calgary.
I think, when he got introduced last night, it was in the context of the 04 coach. It's sort of like Mike Vernon. Everybody remembers his first run. They don't remember him being there from 2000, 2002 when he kind of stunk. Right. So I think, they were looking at him in a certain context last night.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I mean, you can't retire Daryl's jersey, and I think the Flames need something. I don't think Forever Flame is the right thing, but the Vancouver Canucks have their Ring of Honor. Maybe the Flames need the Ring of Fire, and you can put guys like Daryl Sutter in there. Yeah. I think that even a guy like Craig Conroy, was he a good enough Calgary Flame to get raised to the rafters? No, but he's been around this organization. He's done great things for the community. He's the GM now. I think he deserves some recognition.
Yeah, and this is my idea. This is what I think. I go to what the Montreal Canadiens have done, and they have the Canadiens Hall of Fame, and it's not You don't have to go to the game to go to the Canadians Hall of Fame. It's just outside the Bell Center, and it's just a history of everybody that's played with the Montreal Canadiens. I think the Flames need to do that because while Michael Backlund, Mark Giordano may not deserve a jersey to the rafters, Michael Backlund has contributed. Both of them have contributed tremendously into the community, as has Craig Conroy, who's basically spent his entire career on and off the ice with the Calgary Flames. I think that is important. The history part of this organization is important for and I think that like even a guy like Robin Regier, he'll never have his number retired. He'll never be one of those forever a Flame. But I mean,
and I think if they're going to do a Hall of Fame like that, it'd be awesome if you could do a whole wing or section or whatever that looks like on that 04 roster. I mean, Oliwa and guys like that are never going to get their kudos, but were a big part of that roster. Mike Commodore, big part of that roster and that run. And, the fans wearing the red wigs. Like, I think those guys deserve credit for their role in that period of time.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think it's really important for people to remember that. I mean, and there are fans now that were not alive in 2004. And I think that's an important part to kind of, well, I'll get into this a little bit more a little later, but I think that this is something that I think creates a successful culture in an expectation win. Now, I do want to bring up a few names from the past that I do think the Flames need to at least A, have to start mending fences, or B, address. One of them is Gary Roberts. Gary Roberts did have a 150 goal season with the Flames. He was him and Nieuwendyk and Lube were part of that 89 line that helped win the Stanley Cup. The fact that they haven't honored him yet, and they've honored both Nieuwendyk and Lube, I think is kind of sad.
They haven't really honored Lube.
Well, they kind of did a number of years ago, but he's, they sort of forever aflamed Lube, right?
But he's not up in the rafters.
Yeah.
And technically not the rafters, the air vent.
Right, fair.
In the Saddledome, the banners are not above the ice. They're on these air vents off to the side of the ice.
Yeah, I wonder where they put them in the new arena.
We don't even know what the new arena looks like. But I have to imagine it will be built with that in mind. I mean, with the Flames, with the Hitmen, with the Roughnecks, with the Wranglers, you're going to need a lot of spots for banners, and I think that will be addressed.
Yeah. One other person, a couple of other ones, I think they need to bend fences with Doug Gilmour. Doug Gilmour was probably one of the greatest trades in Flames history, and probably turned out to be one of the worst trades in Flames history as well when he was traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs. But they don't win the cup without him. He was the Elias Lindholm before Elias Lindholm was cool. Him and Joey Mullen and Colin Patterson, that dice line was a really good line. And I think they need to bend fences with him. And one other person that I do think they have to honor, I don't think that they've honored even remotely enough. And you go back to the Jaromir Jagr retirement ceremony. I don't know if I don't know if you saw that, but one of the things that they said, it's a great day for hockey. That is former Flames coach Badger Bob Johnson, who got the team to the 86 Stanley Cup final, was really the guy that, was really on the analytics and some of the kind of these modern thoughts before a lot of other coaches were. He just thought this game of hockey. I don't think the Flames have really spoken enough about the contributions to this organization that Badger Bob has done. And I do think that is important to rectify.
Yeah, I think Badger Bob, and I think not now, but in 10 years, I think that if you're going to honor Badger Bob and Daryl Sutter, you need to put Brad Treliving in there. I think Brad Treliving's probably, one of, if not top two GMs that have really changed the face of this franchise.